Good morning, guys. This is your final exam. Make sure you put your name on your papers. The numbers on Socrative, when you put in your answers, go along with the numbers on each page. Each page probably starts over with number 1, okay? So that's all you have to do is make sure you're on the right number on each page. All right? Good luck. Listen carefully. Think with a clear mind. Okay, here on number 1, given triangle ABC and triangle DEF, which statement is true? I think the best thing for you to do would be to, let's move this out of the way, just draw a picture. So there's triangle A, B, C, triangle D, E, and F. Okay, so which statement is true? All right. Is it A, angle A is congruent with angle E? B, angle B is congruent with angle F? C, segment BC is congruent with EF? Or D, segment AC is congruent to segment DE? All right, again, you just simply need to, I would draw a picture and mark each one and see which one is true. In number 2, which congruence statement is true about the triangle shown in the diagram? Okay, I'm not going to read each one of those answers for you, but just take a look. They're all talking about the triangles. Which statement is true? Study the tick marks, study the arc marks on each part. On number 3, which theorem or postulate can be used to show that the triangle ABC is congruent with triangle FBE? Okay, so you got A is angle, side, angle, B is angle, angle, side, C is side, 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 and D is side, angle, side. One thing I want to point out to you is, remember, you basically have two lines that intersect. It makes a certain type of angle that we've studied. In number 4, it says, in triangle PQR and KLM, again, just draw it out, draw a picture. It's the best way to go about it. So P, Q, and R, and K. It's a crappy looking K, but you know what I mean. L and M. So now it says here that angle P is congruent with angle K. Okay, makes sense. PQ, this segment, is congruent with KL with that segment. And angle Q is going to be congruent with angle L. So which side is congruent to RQ? So who would be congruent with this side here on this triangle? All right. Take a look at the answers. Make sure you mark them on the right one on Socrative. Number 5, which theorem or postulate can you use? You got triangle ABC and triangle CDA. All right. Would it be A, hypotenuse leg, B, side, 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 C, side, angle, side, or D, angle, angle, side? On number 6, in this diagram, suppose that angle PNM, so PNM, oops, need a pen. That's this guy right here, is congruent with PMN, so that would be this angle here. And NKP is congruent with MLP, that's that angle there. Which triangles can you, or which triangles can you use to prove that KN, which is this segment here, is congruent to LM? Okay. A, B, C, or D. Which one would it be? Or is there D? It's not enough information. You gotta look at what you've been given here. Is there enough to prove that those two segments are equal. Number 7, in figure Q, and in the figure, you got line QS is a perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector. This means 90 degrees. This means it cuts something in half, right? Of segment PR. So that's this guy. He's the perpendicular bisector, okay, of this segment right here, PR. So which of these statements is true? Just read those and see which one is true. On number 8, how many lines of symmetry are in this figure? Okay, remember, a line of symmetry means that you could fold the object back over on itself. So how many lines of symmetry are in this octagon? 4, 8, 12, or 16? On number 9, says given that angle A is congruent to angle R, and angle C is congruent to angle S, angle B congruent to angle T, segment AC congruent with segment RS, segment AB congruent to segment RT, and segment TS, which statement is true? You need to draw a picture here. Holy cow, that's kind of crazy. Okay, so obviously we got a triangle that's like this, A, B, and C, and one that is R, S, and T. Okay, now that I've drawn that, now you start going back to all this information that they give you. So A is congruent with R, C is congruent with S, B with T. Alright, now you got segments. You see you got AC is congruent with RS, AB is congruent with RT, and BC is congruent with TS. So you got to look A, B, C, and D. Which one of these is the true statement? Remember, when we name these triangles, you have to name them in the same order. So if I start with A, think about what point you got to start with on the other side. Okay? Okay, guys, now we're into chapter 6. Again, this is number 1, so make sure you're doing number 1 on Socrative. Unless we tell you otherwise, but that's what Mr. Shiplett told me how it was set up. Number 1 here says find the measurement of angle A. So this angle here. You're given the other 3. Remember, it's a 4-sided figure. How many degrees does a 4-sided figure always add up to? It has to do with if you make a complete circle. Okay? And number 2 here, ABCD is a parallelogram. You need to figure out what is the measurement, whoops, pen please, there we go. What's the measurement of angle C? Okay, these lines here are parallel. Okay, those are all parallel. So think about alternate interior, alternate exterior angles, or the fact that D and C make a straight line. It's another good easy way. All right, how many degrees is a straight line and what's left over for angle C? In number 3, KLMN is a parallelogram. Which of the following statements is false? So you got to look at those statements, A, B, C, and D. Which one of those is false? Okay. Number 4, looking at this picture here, it says if D is congruent to F, which they've already marked for you, and E and F are supplementary. I'm sorry, let me erase this. If E and F are supplementary, okay, meaning supplementary means they add up to 180 degrees, okay, then you know that DEFG must be what kind of a special quadrilateral? Is it A, a parallelogram, B, a square, C, a rhombus, or D, a rectangle? Question 5, which quadrilateral is a parallelogram? So which one of these, if you just look at them, is a parallelogram? Remember, a parallelogram, by definition, 2 sets of parallel lines. 2 sets. Okay, number 6, you got to look at A, B, C, and D. Parallelogram, square, rectangle, quadrilateral. Which one of these would you not use to describe this shape? Who would not be used to name that shape? Number 7, what is the length of the mid-segment of that trapezoid? Okay, your mid-segment is right here. This is EF. Okay, now there's something you got to do with a 6 and a 12. Okay, you got to put them together and then divide by 2. That'll tell you what the mid-segment is. And number 8, the last one on this page, which of the following statements is never true? Which one's never true? Would it be A, a trapezoid is a rectangle? B, a rectangle is a parallelogram? C, a parallelogram is a rhombus? Or D, a square is a rhombus? And if you're really confused by that, just draw a picture. For example, for A, a trapezoid is a rectangle, so draw a trapezoid. He just kind of looks something like this. Okay, is he a rectangle? Okay, you're looking for which one of those 4 is never true. Okay, gang, number 1 on chapter 7 here, they want you to solve this proportion. Remember, you want to cross multiply, so you're going to take 7 times the x and the negative 3. So for example, that would give me 7x minus 21 equals, then whatever you get when you take 14 times 3, put that over here on this side of the equal sign, and then solve for x. Number 2, it says the perimeter of a rectangular pool is 98 feet. The ratio of the width to the length is 3 to 4. What are the dimensions of the pool? Well, this is pretty simple here, folks, in that I can't do this unless I draw a picture. Okay, so let's do that and get you just to guide you. You have a rectangular pool, okay, and the whole perimeter is 98 feet, and the width is a 3 to 4 ratio, so that's like 3x to 4x. Now, if this is a rectangle, it means this is 4x, and this would be 3x over here. If you add all the sides and put it equal to 98, okay, you figure out what x is, all right, and then once you figure out what x is, plug it back in here and here, and that'll give you the actual width and the length of the swimming pool. That's what they're looking for. Think about it. Is the pool really going to be in letter A 3 feet by 4 feet? Come on, use your head. All right, but that's how we do number 2. Okay, number 3, again, draw a picture. It says ABCD is similar to KLMN. Which statement's false? Heck, I don't know. Let's draw a picture. Draw him under the swimming pool. But if there's 4 points, we're talking about a 4-sided figure. So let's just say here's A, B, C, and D. And here is, what do we say, K, L, M, and N. So which of those statements is false? Now looking at the 2 shapes, okay, you just got to kind of use a little common sense here. That's number 3, sorry. And number 4, which method can be used to show that the triangles are similar? So you got 3 choices really, and D says can't be shown. Maybe it can't, but understand you got a small triangle and then a much bigger triangle. Okay, so remember you got some angles and sides that are going to be included in both. But can you use any of those? Side angle side, side side side. Hey gang, take a look here. Have we ever studied an angle? Or is it can't be shown? Number 5, which statement is true about the triangle? So you got 3 triangles listed there. All right. Now, your choices A, B, and C are just saying if they're similar. If you want to determine whether or not they're similar, remember, you need to check the scale factor. So if I'm going to do, let's say, you got to find corresponding sides. So I'm going to say, okay, well, 10 corresponds to 6. So 10 over 6, if you put that in your calculator, that reduces to a scale factor of 5 over 3. Now, if I get that kind of scale factor everywhere else, then those 2 triangles would be similar. So you got to test each one that they're checking in those answers and see if the triangles are similar. Okay, here number 6, they want to know what is the value of x, that side of the triangle. So if we're going to find the value of x, you need to first determine what's the scale factor between these. Okay, or you could set up a ratio. That would be easy. So remember, if we're going to go small to big, so just think, I'm going to go small over big equal to small over big. All right, so I'd start out with using my x. I'm going to say, okay, so x over, then you think, okay, well, what part of the big triangle does he correspond with? Which would be 12. Now you got to pick another side from the small one, either 12 or 6, and put him over one of the other big sides. Cross multiply and solve for x. Okay, number 7 here again, proportions. We need to figure out what is AB. So they want the actual distance from A to B, all the way from the tip to tip there. So if you want to set up a proportion, you got to start and think, okay, well, on this small triangle, okay, x corresponds to, that would correspond to 5x, because the whole thing would be actually 5 plus x. Let me erase that and rewrite that. This one's a little bit trickier, so I'll give you a little bit more help. Or we could say it as x plus 5, because you add x plus 5, that gives you the whole thing. So set that equal to, now, all right, so you're going to go this side, so it'd be kind of 9 over 12. Now cross multiply in both directions and solve for x. In number 8, they want to know what the length of that segment is with the x. Remember, that should be something of this length right here. Okay, kind of a rule of thumb. He should be cut in blank. And lastly here, number 9, they want the scale factor of the dilation. If something dilates, it means it gets larger or smaller. So you have a 3 here and a 6 those correspond. Just reduce the fraction. It gives you the scale factor, A, B, C, or D. Okay, we're now on number 1 in chapter 8. Okay, so this would be like the 4th number 1 that you've answered on Socrative. What is the measure of angle A in a regular polygon? Now remember, this is an 8-sided figure. You're going to want to use n minus 2 and multiply that by 180. That gives you the total amount of degrees in the whole thing. But then you got to divide it by 8, because there are 8 angles, and I'll tell you about each one individually. Yes. Okay, number 2, what is the measure of an exterior angle of a regular pentagon? Okay, so remember, exterior angles always have to add up to 360. And if we're talking about a pentagon, how many angles are there? Okay, and that'll tell you how many degrees each exterior angle should be equal to. In question 3, what is the area of the polygon? Okay, so we got like 3 rectangles here. All right, they want the area of the whole thing. So what you want to make sure you do is find the area of this one, and then the little guy, and then this bigger one here. So like find the area of number 1, number 2, number 3. Add them all up. Number 4, the area of the triangle is 49 square feet. So they give you the area. Okay, that's 49 feet squared. They want to know what the height is right here. So remember your formula. Area is 1/2 base times height, or I always like to write it as area equals base times height divided by 2. So plug in your B, which is a 7, and you already got the 2, but get H by itself. Remember, I would start off by, if I'm dividing by 2, I'd multiply both sides by 2 first. In number 5, the scale factor of triangle ABC to DEF is a 3-to-1 ratio. So, what is the ratio of the area of ABC to DEF? Here's a hint, guys. If it's this, use your noodle, A, B, C, or D. Okay, number 6, what is the area of the parallelogram? Again, just to find the area, we're just going to say, okay, base times the height. All right, so use your information. All right, gang, number 7, if the area of the rhombus ABCD is 32 inches squared. So that's 32 square inches. They want you to find AC. Okay. So that would be from here all the way across to there. So use your area as base times height, okay, to find the area of that rhombus, and to find what this other diagonal would be. Because remember, these diagonals cut each other in half. So like I run that blue line across, that means this guy's now 2 and this guy's 2, because 2 and 2 make 4. All right. There was a formula that you studied about diagonals, okay? I believe it was, if you, the area of a rhombus, so you're going to say like take 1/2, but then you got to take diagonal 1 plus diagonal 2, all right, and take half of that, all right? Okay, number 8, what is the area of the trapezoid? Okay, so you just need to find the area of that trapezoid. You probably are going to need to know what the length of that part is. Just use that guy right there. Number 9, what is the approximate circumference of a circle that has a diameter of 11 feet? So you got a circle, his diameter is 11 feet. Remember, circumference of a circle is C equals 2 pi r. So you need r, which means you basically got to cut that diameter in to figure that out. Okay? Okay, number 10 here. We need to find the area of this shaded part right here, okay? So what we need to do is make a proportion, all right? So you first need to find the area of the whole circle. To find that, you're going to say area equals pi r squared. They give you r, that's right here, that's 7, okay? Once you find that area, okay, then we're going to say we're going to call our area of this shaded part x. So we're going to say x over the area of the circle equal to then 60 degrees, because that's the angle, over 360, because there's 360 degrees in the whole triangle. So take your area, plug it in there, and then cross multiply and solve the proportion to find x, which is the area of the shaded part. Okay, last page, number 1 on the last page. This is chapter 9. How many faces does the pentagonal pyramid have? All right, think about how many faces. It's a pentagon, so it's got 5 sides, so it's probably going to have many spaces. And number 2, it says a rectangular prism has 6 faces and 8 vertices. How many edges does it have? Well, if I'm doing this, here's what I'm doing. I'm drawing a picture. A rectangular pyramid, it said, right? No, prism, my bad. So you're going to have a rectangle and another rectangle, and he's a prism. Oh, would you look at this drawing? Can't tell me you'd have done any better. Now, their question was, how many edges? Okay, so remember each, like there's one edge, okay? So how many edges does it have? You can use my picture if you think you could draw one better. Okay, number 3, what is the surface area of this prism? All right. Hey, again, if I'm doing it, I'm looking at, shapes. I've got a triangle on each end. So like I've got 2 triangles. I'm going to itemize it. So I'd say times 2 because there's one on each end. All right. Find the area of him. Then think about it. You got this large rectangle here. I don't really think you got another one quite like him, so he'd just be by 1. And let's see here, you got the base rectangle. Okay, he's a little bit different shape, so that's a different rectangle, just one of him. And then you got this rectangle in the back. So really there's like 3 rectangles. Find the area of all 4 of those and add them up. Okay guys, here in number 4, we need to find the slant height, which is actually right here. And we need to kind of make a triangle like this going out to that height. So we got to use Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Label your sides. This would be a, so that's 12. This is b, which is half of this base right here. So what's half of 18? That's going to be, I think, 9. Okay, so you got 12 and 9, and then we don't know what this part is. That's c. That's your slant height. So plug in 12 for a, so it's going to be 12 squared plus 9 squared equals c squared. And that should help you find your slant height. Remember to take the square root at the end. Okay, gang, this is number 5, and I believe your last question. You need to find the surface area of this cone. Alright, and to find the surface area, you're going to take pi times the radius times the slant height, which we'll call L, plus pi r squared. Okay, so you got pi times radius times the slant height. Now they give you 6. This is the diameter, so the radius is going to be 3. So plug all that information in. They give you the slant height. It's right here. Okay, and find the surface area. Make sure you've answered all the questions. Check your answers. Check Socrative. Check this. Check that. Check. And looks like that's it. Mr. Shiplett crossed out the rest. Thanks for watching. Have a great summer.